very exciting day for us, our first day in the new stadium. I think our kids were just a little bit shell-shocked at first. They kind of got a late start. Our great athletic director came up and he gave us a nice little pep talk. But it was a good practice today. I thought we practiced well. Tanner threw the ball really well. Defensively, we ran around better than offense. The offense kind of was in walkthrough mode half the practice. I had to get on them a little bit. But I thought it was overall good practice. Second half was real good. Questions?
Please raise your hand.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Mike? Yes, we have a mic. Bring around to you. Thank you, Joe. Hey, CJ, just talking to Tanner, I heard this well, and it seems like confidence for a freshman, it just seems like past his years already, being a month in camp there, you've got confidence in the offense. You seem like a well-poised veteran.
You know, I think he's a confident young man. You know, he's had success in high school, and he's been around a lot of successful guys. And you know, he had the opportunity to go to be at the Peyton Manning camp, and he's been around a couple of different camps. And I just think, you know, seeing the competition, seeing other quarterbacks, his confidence is beginning to rise and exude because he sees that how he compares to everybody else, and he's very comparable, or if not better.
CJ, the offensive line, you have a little more experience than this time last year. What does that allow you to do this season, and how is that going to upgrade your offensive line?
You know, I think the offensive line, you're absolutely right. You know, last year we played two freshmen. One of them was a true freshman, started him. Actually, we had 4 out of 5 guys hadn't played in the game before. So, but now this year we got a little bit more experience in having a young quarterback, having some young skilled guys. You know, I'd like to be able to run the ball and, you know, play this game as a tough guy game. I challenge the offensive line. We got to run the ball on this team. And if we do that, I think we'll be balanced and we'll be pretty successful.
The last time you were at Tulsa, there were so many different reasons. Obviously, Devon, injury, Ryan was hurt, wasn't very good game, the first game. Two things, can you think about how far you've come as a program and as a head coach from that game, because it wasn't as pretty as a game. And then second, was thinking like, Devon is.
Yes, he's coming. Yes. You know, the first thing, you know, that year was such a blur. It was so long ago. I was such a poor coach, and now I've developed some better skills. I'm still not that good, but just to put things in perspective, you know, that day was probably one of the worst days, and I would say maybe in my life, just being around. I think the players, the program took a very setback. This young man was injured, and it was just a horrific injury. And you know, we like to thank the people at Tulsa because they really saved his life. And just to go back, for him to go back there, to thank them, to be around them again, to go back to the site of this injury is just he's too courageous for me. I don't know what I would do. You know, he's just a courageous young man, and you know, I love him for it. I think we want to go back and we want to treat this game as a football team like this is a must-win game for us. It's early, but it's must-win. You know, if you want to know in conference, that's a big shot to your goal. And if we want to turn this program in a direction that it needs to be turned in, we got to go on the road and win some games. No comment on Robert. There's nothing to address. Robert hadn't been on the team, so there's nothing about Robert. Yeah, you know, you like to go into the season where there's nothing, but you look in the newspapers across the country, stuff happens. And, you know, one thing, Robert never practiced with us one time, you know, since last year. So, you know, we have the guys here. We have, you know, some new players. Dontrell Hilliard's playing well. Sherman Bandy is playing well. You know, Dante Butler's playing. You know, a lot of guys playing well. Cedric, all these guys are playing good, and they've been in the system. And now they've been playing with Tanner. So it's almost like a whole new start. It's a whole new chapter of this offense. What direction we're going in.
The one thing that you know is going to hit the players is when they go into that locker room and Tulsa, in the same locker room. How are they going to, I mean, is there going to be any attempt on your part to reel in some of those emotions because they're going to remember halftime last time they were there?
Yeah, you know what? The one thing about it is, you know, the majority of the kids, they weren't there. You know, we playing so many young players that, you know, a bunch of them, they weren't there, but they've all heard the stories. And I think with Devon being there, he's a calming influence for all of them. He'll have something fantastic to say. You know, I kid you not, it'll be something great. It'll be something monumental. So I think what'll happen is the main thing that we got to do is just got to settle down and don't worry about the first game. Don't worry about the first game in the conference. American Athletic Conference. We just got to settle down and play football.
You chose to embrace the situation as opposed to downplay it. You invited Devon to go with you to Tulsa. Explain the rationale for doing that.
Devon is quite a unique young man when it comes to this program. Devon is one of the guys that will, from now on, we are tied to him forever, and I like to give him an opportunity to do as much as he can around here. And I think just for his mindset, just for his psyche, just for being him, he's given us so much. I want to give him an opportunity to go back to the place where, he felt that he wanted to thank those people at Tulsa who saved his life. So, it was a no-brainer.
As far as on the field, generally, how much is getting to see him gets some real shots, real defense he doesn't know going up against him? What are you most worried about going up there and
I'm looking forward really to running the football. I want to run a football against this team, and if we can do that, I think Tanner. I just want him to get comfortable. I just want him to get back there and just be very, very comfortable in what he does. And if he's comfortable and we're running the ball, I think we're gonna have a good shot of winning that game.
do you have an updated kicker situation at this point? How's it settled?
What? As of right now, we're still gonna go into. That's the one position that we still up in the air. We're going into the game. I would say I know Duraco is going to be a part of the kicking equation, but other than that, we're just going to kind of leave it at that.
Coach, you talked a little bit about the running backs, and you talked earlier in the camp about a running back by committee. Bring us up to date on that situation as you go into this Tulsa game. Is there a starting running back? Are they all situational guys? And how do you plan on using them?
Yeah, right now they all are situational guys. We have, and I get it from my great mentor Sean Payton. We have positions. We have a position where all those guys are good players, and all those guys have certain strengths, and all those guys have certain things that they need to improve on. So we have personnel groups or packages, which each of those guys have a portion of the package. So it'll be by committee, and I don't know who's the starter. It depends on who gets the first play. That's the starter. No, not really. I think with Tanner is so cool. He's been cool when he used to go to the Saints game. When I used to see him on the sideline, he's just a cool customer. So if I yell at him, he probably just wouldn't say nothing. If I don't yell at him, he probably wouldn't say nothing. It's just how he is. So probably not. I would rather him just. If I do tell him something, it may be let's speed it up some, let's press the tempo. Sometime I got to get on him about his body language, but other than that, I don't say much to him, and I want to be encouraging him this game.
With the quality competition increasing this season, starting a new quarterback, what are your expectations for the season, and what would be a good season?
I think just a vast improvement, the upgrading of what we're doing. I think we'll have more speed this year. Just upgrading. I want to run an offense that's pretty much balanced off of run and pass. Defensively, I really have a high expectation for those guys. I think those guys can they got to stop the run, and if they do that, we'll have a chance of winning. So I don't put a number on games won, games lost, but just to see more, take another step in the right direction in improvement. I think we have some more speed. I think we are a little bit, we're beginning to get better. We're beginning to get stronger. So I just want to see those guys play in a mature manner, less penalties, less turnovers, and just continue to get better.
Coach, looking at two questions, looking at your pitching situation. If you get to the inside the 30, will that affect what you do in that area, 25 to 30 yard line? And also, do you think that the offense maybe needs to be a little less complicated because you're going with a freshman starter?
Yeah, well, the offense is really isn't very complicated right now. You put a lot of offense in, and then, when it comes to game planning, you really do probably, I would say, the same things over and over. It won't be very many plays. There will be some minor adjustments here and there, but you'll be seeing a lot of the same things over and over again as a way that we could window dress some stuff. So from the complicated point, I think Tanner is he's wanting more. You know, he's wanting more. You know, yeah, absolutely. You know, now that we don't have Cairo anymore, you know, and Cairo was a great player for us. You know, we got to make all those considerations on when we go for it, when we kick, when we decide to punt, when we want to pin them back, because you know we feel real good about our defense. So we like to let them play on a long field against our defense, and we have a chance to flip the field a lot.
As a quick follow-up, do you have I know you're not going to say it, but do you have do you have a yard long where you kind of figure, hey, that's not max distance on what I'm going to do here?
Yes, we do. You know, I don't know. Look, again, defensively, it's personnel groups too. You know, Speedy's been doing that since last year. You know, sometime Batiste started, sometime this one started, that one started. You know, Ray Jean's been playing well. I'll tell you this, Edward Williams been playing well too. You know, so those two guys, I'm looking to look at those guys in some nickel. Matt Bailey's been playing well. He'll definitely be a starter. So will Nico Marley. But depending on how they play their game, we'll figure out who's the other guy and how we're going to alternate. But Marbley, Zach Thomas, and Edward Williams definitely will play a lot in this game. I thought they were picking us last. You know, look, Tulsa, nothing against what they did last year. You know, sometimes you have a down year. I still think that the same coaches, some of the same players, the same. You know, I think they're a good football team. This team, you know, they got some guys coming back. They got this defensive back, the secondary that's very, very good. Those linebackers are back. So I think they're a very good team.
It looks like there's opportunity to run though against Tulsa. If I'm looking at their secondary,
Okay.
you know, it's like just sort of. Are you seeing the same thing that I'm seeing?
I hope you hadn't been in my film room, but you know what I think. I think what we got to do, the main thing that we have to do is we got to block them up front. I think our offensive line is better this year than they've been since I've been here, and we got some young backs that got to get through there, and they got to play well. And let's protect Tanner, and I think we'll have an opportunity to do some stuff on Thursday.
What is their biggest offensive weapon in your mind?
Well, I think the quarterback's got to be one of the biggest guys because he's back for another year. And, you know, the second weapon, I'd say the offensive line. Those are the guys that play together the most over there. And so I think what they're going to try to do, probably similar to what we do, they're going to spread us out and run it and do some stuff like that. We just got to contain them. Our defensive line got to come to play.
Different sort of question. You had practice on campus today. You didn't have to get on a bus to go anywhere.
First time in a while.
But I'm imagining it's, you know, not all the trimmings are complete within the old. Were you able to have a normal practice? And what was it like not having to get on a bus? Or, you know, what was today like?
It was really a good feeling. Our kids got out the locker room. They finally got a chance to walk right through a football field that was 100 yards. You know, we were on a baseball field, and it was like, I don't know, 65 yards maybe, 65 and a half yards. But it was really fun. We did the clock stuff. The clock operated. I mean, it was great. It took us a while to get going because everybody was, I guess they had their little cameras out. They were taking pictures, tweeting, and whatever they do nowadays. But it was a good feeling just getting on. And then the main thing about it is getting off the field. You know, that's the biggest thing because, getting off, you're busting from here to there. After practice, you sweat, you're dirty. It's just, I would have to get in my car. It's just so much better just going and getting in the locker room. And, it's just a true blessing. Well, you know what? I don't know. They've been practicing, in training camp. I don't know if there's any glaring weakness on their team. I think they're a good, balanced football team. I thought they had some unfortunate injuries last year. I thought they had some unfortunate breaks. But, I think they're a good football team. I look at their defensive line. They got a bunch of guys coming back, good linebackers on defense. They moved their secondary around a little bit. They put the four best players on the field. So, I think that's going to be a strength to them. And then offensively, that line is good. The quarterback's back. So, they got some things going for them.
Walking up there to Wilson Center for students in line, I've never witnessed that for Tulane for a long time. Do you feel being around campus this all season, touchdown club maybe yesterday, the quarterback club, that this is a new era in Tulane football that we're going to hold times around uptown?
Well, Well, you know, I think there's truly a buzz about our program right now for what we've done with the stadium, getting in a new conference. I think there's also a buzz because we got some young men, some local young men that's coming in, they playing. You know, they can identify with Tanner Lee, with Sherman, with Kenny Welcome. They can all identify with those guys because they prepped right here. So I think that's also a buzz also. But it's about these players. It's about these kids. You know, these kids will do a great job, and I think everybody excited to see them.
Another question. Last year you made a bowl game, finished this year, preseason, you were second to last. You even mentioned that to the kids, or does that mean, speak about to maybe get some ammunition there?
No, not really. You know, last year I didn't know where we were projected to finish last year, but I don't think, you know, it's just got someone's opinion, and there's a lot of opinions going on around here. I think what we got to do is we just got to play football like we're capable of playing, and let's just see how it end up. You know, that's what we did last year, and we got in a bowl game, and there was 3 or 4 other games we probably could have or should have won. So now we just got to continue to do the same thing, continue to make jumps in this program.
Coach, how confident are you that you can present the quarterback? How much blitzing do you think you will see, especially early in the season? And does Tulsa do that a lot as a defense?
Well, 2 years ago when we went up there, it was blitz every down. You know, if he doesn't handle the blitz very well, then he's gonna see it. The thing that you got to do is you got to handle it. If you handle the blitz, I think they'll stop it and they'll play more base defense. And look, if we play against a young quarterback, a freshman quarterback, we're gonna blitz. I'm gonna make Lionel see if he can pick up the blitz. Yeah, absolutely.
You were asked a lot of questions earlier about the line. Think about the state of the program 2 years ago that day. And all the things that have happened positively since then. And just think about, and to talk a little bit about Devon and think about his life and what it's going to do going forward.
Yeah, you know what? I would say this. Devon is a young man that's, you know, that you look at. He's one of the guys that when you walk in the Tulane program, when he was here, when he was playing for us, he was the one guy that I would try to not play, and then I would have to play him because he played so well. You know, as you know, he's a walk-on from Destrehan. He continued to play, and you know, he played with this little chip on his shoulder all the time. So where we were back then, you know, just to know, we were out of a quarterback. Our starter was hurt. We had a true freshman. Devon Powell was the starter then. You know, we were makeshifting guys because guys were injured. You know, we had a bunch of scholarships back then. Now we don't have any. You know, so we're beginning to build, I would say, this first phase and a half of this program to where one day, you know, hopefully we will be respected around the country.
Just to follow up on that, there was a period of time, not to get too grim, but there was a period of time where you didn't know if Devon was going to make it. You know, that halftime was brutal. Take me back to your memories of that time period and that uncertainty, particularly being a young coach.
Yeah, you know, it was the worst part about it was when you see a player on the field and you just see everybody around and you see him just laying there helpless, and you know, you see him working on him, and they were, I'm telling you, they did probably the best job you could ever do, you know, just to revive him. A couple times they didn't want him to go to sleep, you know, he was nodding in and out, and you know, I remember the blood pressure machines coming on him and they moving him and, you know, doing certain things to him. So, you know, I remember Coach Blankenship coming over and, you know, giving me a hug and, you know, saying, hey, look, we praying for you. It's going to be all right. And he stood right there with me. Their trainer was there. Everybody was there around. I thought our trainers did a great job. So, you know, the wonderful thing about it was just getting him to a place where he could be secure. And that was the one thing I wanted, you know, him to be in a place where, in a hospital where they can really, really take care of him. And I thought that's what they did.
Any more questions?
Thank you, guys.